Imagine walking into a room where everyone already knows the rules. They move with quiet confidence. Their decisions seem effortless. They rarely panic. They rarely chase. They simply know something you don't. Now imagine no one ever taught you those rules. Every mistake costs time. Every wrong decision costs money. For most people, that's exactly how wealth works. We're taught how to earn money, but almost no one teaches us how money creates wealth. Instead, we're given familiar advice. Work hard, save more, buy a house, get promoted. They're not bad ideas, but they're incomplete. Because if hard work alone created wealth, millions of hardworking people would already be financially free. If income alone created wealth, high earners would never struggle with money. Yet every year, we see people earning impressive salaries, living paycheck to paycheck, while others, earning far less, quietly become millionaires. How? Imagine two friends beginning their careers together. Same education, similar salaries, similar opportunities. At first, their lives look almost identical. But one spends money asking, "What can I buy?" The other asks, "What can this money become?" The difference seems tiny, almost invisible, but years quietly magnify small decisions. One accumulates possessions. The other accumulates ownership. One builds a lifestyle. The other builds freedom. From the outside, people call it luck. But luck isn't what separates them. Behavioral researchers have discovered something remarkable. The greatest difference between wealthy people and everyone else is rarely intelligence, or talent, or even income. It's behavior, small decisions, repeated consistently over many years. Imagine two airplanes leaving the same runway. Their paths differ by only a single degree. At first, they appear to fly together. Hours later, they're landing in different countries. Financial lives work exactly the same way. Tiny choices, made repeatedly, create extraordinary outcomes. That's why this documentary isn't about secret investments or quick riches. It's about the silent rules millionaires quietly follow every day. Rules that shape how they think, how they spend, how they invest, and how they build freedom long before anyone notices. Because once you understand these rules, you'll begin seeing money differently. You'll recognize opportunities others ignore. You'll avoid financial traps before they appear. And you'll realize something surprising. The wealthy were never playing a different game. They were simply following a different rule book. So let's begin with the first rule, the one that quietly shapes every financial decision that follows. Because before millionaires build wealth, they learn to think about time differently. Imagine planting an oak tree. The first year, almost nothing seems to happen. The second year, still very little. To someone passing by, it almost looks like failure. But beneath the surface, the roots are spreading, quietly, patiently, preparing for a lifetime of growth. Wealth works the same way. The world celebrates speed, instant delivery, instant entertainment, instant success. We're taught to expect results immediately. If something takes too long, we assume it isn't working. But the wealthiest people rarely think that way. They understand that the most valuable things in life need time before they become visible. Imagine two people receiving the same opportunity. The first asks, "How much money will this make me this month?" The second asks, "Where could this put me 10 years from now?" One is chasing income. The other is building a future. At first, the difference seems meaningless. Months later, both still appear successful. But years have a way of rewarding patience. Behavioral economists describe this as delayed gratification, the ability to sacrifice a smaller reward today for a much greater reward tomorrow. One of the most famous psychology experiments involved children being offered a simple choice: eat one treat immediately, or wait and receive two instead. Some couldn't resist. Others waited. Years later, researchers discovered something fascinating. The children who consistently delayed gratification often performed better in education, careers, and financial stability. Not because they were smarter, but because they had learned to think beyond the present moment. Millionaires apply this principle to money. Every dollar forces a choice. Spend it now, or let it grow into something greater. Neither choice feels life-changing, but repeated thousands of times, those decisions create completely different futures. Imagine two workers receiving the same annual raise. One immediately upgrades their lifestyle. A newer car, a larger apartment, more expensive habits. The other keeps living almost exactly the same. Instead, they invest the difference. 5 years later, the first has nicer possessions. The second owns productive assets. 10 years later, the gap becomes extraordinary. Not because one earned dramatically more, but because one gave time a chance to work. Time is the partner most people underestimate. It quietly multiplies good decisions and exposes bad ones. Imagine rolling a small snowball down a mountain. At first, it barely changes, but as it continues rolling, it gathers more snow, becomes heavier, moves faster. Eventually, its growth becomes impossible to ignore. Wealth compounds in exactly the same way. The beginning feels slow, almost disappointing. That's why so many people quit too early. They mistake invisible progress for no progress at all. The wealthy don't. They know that roots always grow before branches. This is why they rarely chase overnight success. They're far more interested in sustainable success. Success that can survive decades, not just headlines. Perhaps that's the first silent rule every millionaire follows. They don't ask, how quickly can I get rich? They ask, how strong can I build my future? Because wealth isn't created by one brilliant decision. It's created by ordinary decisions, made consistently for an extraordinarily long time. And once you begin thinking in decades instead of days, your relationship with money changes forever. But time alone isn't enough, because even patient people can spend their lives chasing the wrong things. Which brings us to the second silent rule. Millionaires don't spend their lives buying comfort. They spend them buying control. Imagine waking up tomorrow with enough money to never worry about another bill. Will the first thing you buy be another luxury car, a larger house, a more expensive watch? Perhaps. But after those purchases, what would you really want? More free time, more choices, more control over your life. That's the surprising truth about wealth. The things people believe they want are often only symbols. The real goal hiding beneath them is freedom. Imagine two professionals earning the same income. The first spends every raise making life more comfortable. A bigger home, a luxury SUV, premium memberships, fine dining. Nothing seems excessive. Each upgrade feels deserved. The second makes a different decision. Instead of increasing every expense, they increase their ownership. They invest. They build businesses. They acquire assets. From the outside, their lives look less impressive. But appearances rarely reveal financial reality. One is buying comfort. The other is buying control. Comfort feels wonderful. There's nothing wrong with enjoying success. The problem begins when comfort becomes a permanent financial obligation. A larger mortgage, higher insurance, more maintenance, more subscriptions, more income required just to stand still. Eventually, life becomes expensive to maintain. Imagine climbing a mountain while carrying a heavy backpack. At first, the weight feels manageable. Then another item is added, and another. Each one seems small, but together, they slow every step. Lifestyle inflation works the same way. Every new comfort quietly increases tomorrow's financial burden. Control works differently. It reduces dependence. Imagine receiving a phone call from your employer. Your position has been eliminated. For someone living paycheck to paycheck, that call creates panic. For someone whose assets generate income, it creates options. One person asks, "What am I going to do?" The other asks, "What do I want to do?" That's the power of control. It doesn't remove uncertainty. It gives you choices during uncertainty. The wealthy understand this deeply. They don't build wealth simply to own more things. They build wealth so they can say no. No to work they hate. No to opportunities that don't align with their values. No to decisions driven by desperation. Because the person with the most options often has the greatest freedom. Behavioral economists have long observed that people naturally choose immediate comfort over future flexibility. It's human nature. The benefits of comfort arrive today. The benefits of control often arrive years later. Yet those delayed rewards are usually far more valuable. Think about the people you admire most financially. It's rarely the ones with the loudest lifestyles. It's the ones who seem calm, patient, unhurried. They aren't calm because life is easier. They're calm because they've built financial breathing room. Assets give them choices. Choices create confidence. And confidence changes everything. Perhaps that's why many millionaires live surprisingly ordinary lives. Their goal was never to impress strangers. It was to own enough of their future that no one else could control it. That's the second silent rule. They don't confuse comfort with success. They pursue control because comfort can disappear overnight. Control grows stronger over time. And once you've built enough control, money begins serving your life instead of your life serving money, which leads to the next rule, one that quietly multiplies wealth year after year. Millionaires don't simply earn money. They teach money how to earn more money. Imagine watching two people push enormous boulders up separate hills. The first pushes with incredible strength. For one day, the boulder moves a great distance. But the next morning, he doesn't return. The second person pushes with far less force. Only a few inches each day. Sometimes, it barely looks like progress. People walking past assume nothing is happening. Weeks pass, then months, then years. Eventually, the second boulder reaches the summit. Not because it was pushed harder, but because it was pushed consistently. Wealth follows the same principle. Most people search for one life-changing opportunity, one perfect investment, one brilliant business idea, one lucky break. But millionaires understand something much quieter. Extraordinary wealth is usually the result of ordinary actions, repeated for an extraordinarily long time. Imagine saving just a small amount every month. The first year feels almost disappointing. Your account barely changes. The second year, progress still feels slow. Meanwhile, friends seem to be moving ahead. Someone buys a luxury SUV. Another upgrades to a bigger home. Someone posts photos from an expensive vacation. For a moment, it feels like you're standing still. But beneath the surface, a different story is unfolding. Every investment is quietly joining the previous one. Every contribution becomes another worker. Every month adds another brick to a foundation no one else can see. This is why consistency often feels unrewarding at first. Human beings are wired to notice dramatic change, not gradual improvement. We celebrate sudden success. We overlook steady progress. Imagine filling a massive reservoir with a single stream of water. Day after day, the stream keeps flowing. From a distance, the water level barely changes. Someone visiting once a month might think nothing is happening, but the stream never stops. Eventually, the reservoir becomes impossible to ignore. Most people admire the lake. Very few appreciate the years of steady water that created it. Financial freedom is built the same way, not through occasional bursts of discipline, but through habits that continue long after motivation fades. This is one of the silent rules every millionaire follows. They don't rely on inspiration. They rely on systems. Imagine two investors. The first waits for the perfect time to invest. They study headlines, watch financial news, predict market crashes, search for certainty. Months become years. They continue waiting. The second investor follows a simple routine. Every month, regardless of the headlines, they invest consistently. When prices fall, they continue buying. When prices rise, they continue buying. When the economy feels uncertain, they continue buying. Years later, the difference is extraordinary. Not because the second investor predicted the future, but because they refused to let emotions interrupt consistency. The wealthy understand something most people underestimate. Consistency beats intensity. One extraordinary decision rarely changes your life. Thousands of ordinary decisions often do. Imagine brushing your teeth. Skipping one day doesn't destroy your health, but skipping months eventually does. The opposite is also true. Brushing once doesn't transform your smile. Doing it every day does. Money behaves remarkably the same way. One smart investment won't make you wealthy overnight. One unnecessary purchase won't make you poor. But repeated over decades, those tiny choices become enormous outcomes. This is why millionaires become obsessed with routines. Automatic investing, reading every day, learning new skills, reviewing finances regularly, improving businesses, strengthening relationships. They understand that habits quietly become results. Imagine planting one tree every year. At first, your land still looks mostly empty, but after 20 years, you're standing inside a forest. No single tree created it. Consistency did. The same is true for wealth. One investment becomes 10. 10 become 50. 50 begin producing income of their own. Eventually, your past decisions start helping finance your future decisions. This is the hidden power of consistency. It removes the need for dramatic breakthroughs. Small improvements, repeated long enough, become extraordinary. Perhaps that's why the wealthiest people rarely chase shortcuts. They know shortcuts often disappear. Strong habits rarely do. And once consistency becomes part of your identity, building wealth stops feeling like a struggle. It becomes the natural result of the way you live. But consistency alone isn't enough, because even the most disciplined person can build the wrong future if you're climbing the wrong ladder. Which brings us to another silent rule that quietly separates millionaires from everyone else. They don't just work hard. They make sure they're working on the right things. Imagine two builders standing on opposite sides of a mountain. The first builder has only a shovel. Every stone must be lifted by hand. Every hole must be dug with effort. If he stops working, progress stops with him. Now imagine the second builder. Instead of picking up a shovel, he builds a machine. The machine works while he rests. It digs deeper, moves faster, produces more. One person multiplies effort. The other multiplies results. That is the difference between labor and leverage. Most people spend their lives selling time. Every hour has a price. Work more, earn more. Work less, earn less. It's a system almost everyone accepts without question. But millionaires eventually discover something different. Time has limits. Leverage doesn't. Imagine being paid for every hour you work. There are only 24 hours in a day. Even if you're highly skilled, your income eventually reaches a ceiling. You simply run out of hours to sell. Now imagine creating something once that continues creating value long after you're finished. A business, a book, software, an investment portfolio, a YouTube channel, a patent, a product. The work may take months, even years. But once it's built, it continues working. The wealthy aren't obsessed with avoiding work. They're obsessed with making each hour count more than once. Imagine an architect designing a building. The design takes months. Every measurement matters. Every detail requires careful thought. When the blueprint is complete, it can be used repeatedly. The architect's effort happened once. Its value can last for decades. Leverage follows the same principle. Do the difficult work once. Benefit many times. This is why ownership matters so much. Ownership allows your effort to outlive your presence. Imagine owning a small business. At first, you're doing almost everything yourself. Meeting customers, managing inventory, handling problems. It feels overwhelming. But over time, you hire people, create systems, improve processes. Eventually, the business begins operating with less dependence on you. Your effort shifts from doing everything to building something that continues without constant supervision. That transformation is leverage. It's the reason some people create extraordinary wealth without working extraordinary hours forever. Consider another example. Two teachers possess the same knowledge. One teaches 30 students inside a classroom. The other records an online course. The course reaches thousands, then tens of thousands, perhaps even millions. The knowledge didn't become better. The leverage became greater. Technology has quietly transformed leverage into one of the greatest wealth-building tools in history. Never before has one person been able to reach millions, build businesses, sell products, or educate the world from a single laptop. The wealthy recognize this opportunity. They don't simply ask, "How can I work harder?" They ask, "How can 1 hour of work create 100 hours of value?" That question changes everything. Imagine writing a song. The songwriter spends weeks creating it. After it's released, people continue listening, streaming, licensing, buying. Years later, income still arrives. The effort was temporary. The rewards became recurring. This pattern appears everywhere. A software company builds an application. Customers subscribe every month. An author writes a book. Royalties continue arriving. An investor owns shares in productive companies. Dividends continue being paid. An entrepreneur creates a business with strong systems. Customers continue purchasing. Each example follows the same quiet rule. Create value once. Allow ownership to multiply it. Perhaps that's why the wealthy become fascinated by scalable systems. Not because they're chasing complexity, but because they're escaping limitation. Imagine carrying buckets of water to your home every day. It's hard work. You survive, but each morning, you must begin again. Now imagine spending months building a pipeline. During construction, life becomes even harder. People watching might wonder why you're working so much without immediate results. But once the pipeline is finished, water flows continuously, even while you sleep. Leverage is building the pipeline instead of carrying the bucket forever. Many people never build pipelines because carrying buckets provides immediate results. Pipelines demand patience, faith, long-term thinking. The wealthy are willing to sacrifice temporary comfort to create permanent efficiency, and that decision compounds for decades. This is why millionaires rarely focus only on income. Income is important, but leverage determines how far that income can grow. Imagine earning an extra $1,000. You can spend it once, or invest it into something that continues producing returns. Now imagine repeating that decision every year. Over time, the difference becomes enormous. One person keeps restarting from zero. The other keeps building on yesterday's progress. Leverage also changes how the wealthy think about learning. Most people ask, "What skill will help me earn more this year?" Millionaires often ask, "What skill will continue paying me for the next 20 years?" communication, leadership, sales, investing, problem solving, building businesses. These abilities don't create value once. They create value repeatedly. The wealthy invest in skills because skills become systems. Systems create leverage, and leverage creates freedom. Perhaps that's the most overlooked lesson of all. The goal isn't to escape work. Meaningful work gives life purpose. The goal is to escape the need to exchange every hour for survival. That's where freedom begins. When your investments work alongside you. When your business continues serving customers. When your ideas continue creating value. When your assets continue producing income. You're no longer depending on a single source of effort. You're supported by multiple sources of ownership. That is the silent rule of leverage. It quietly separates people who work for money from people who build systems that allow money to work for them. But leverage alone cannot create lasting wealth, because even powerful systems can collapse if they're built on weak character. And that brings us to perhaps the most overlooked rule of all, the silent rule that determines whether wealth survives for generations or disappears within a single lifetime. Imagine two people standing at the edge of forest. The first looks only a few steps ahead. He chooses the shortest path, the easiest trail, the quickest reward. The second climbs a nearby hill before taking a single step. From above, he sees rivers, mountains, dead ends, hidden paths. His journey takes longer to begin, but he reaches the destination with far fewer mistakes. That is the difference between short-term thinking and thinking in decades. One reacts to today, the other prepares for tomorrow. Most people make financial decisions based on the next paycheck, the next vacation, the next promotion, the next purchase. Millionaires often think differently. Before making an important decision, they quietly ask themselves, how will this affect my life 10 years from now? It's a simple question, but it changes almost everything. Imagine planting an oak tree. For years, very little seems to happen. The tree grows slowly, almost unnoticed. Children run past it. Neighbors ignore it. Visitors hardly see it. But 50 years later, its branches provide shade for generations. No one praises the person who watered it in the beginning. Yet everyone benefits from the decision they made decades earlier. Wealth follows the same pattern. The most valuable decisions rarely produce immediate applause. Their rewards arrive quietly, year after year. Imagine receiving a significant raise. Most people immediately imagine a better lifestyle, a larger house, a luxury vacation, a newer car. None of those desires are unusual. But someone thinking in decades asks a different question. What can this raise become? Instead of seeing extra income, they see extra opportunity. Every additional dollar becomes another seed, another investment, another future income stream, another layer of security. This is why long-term thinkers often appear surprisingly patient. They're not ignoring today's pleasures. They're protecting tomorrow's freedom. Imagine building a castle. Would you spend all your time decorating the roof before laying the foundation? Of course not. Yet many people do exactly that with money. They decorate their lifestyle before strengthening their financial foundation. The wealthy reverse the order. They build the foundation first. Then everything above it becomes easier to support. This principle extends far beyond investing. Consider health, reading, relationships, skills, character. None of these improve dramatically in a week, but every one of them compounds over decades. Millionaires understand that wealth is not isolated. A healthy body creates productive years. Strong relationships create opportunities. Continuous learning creates better decisions. Everything works together. Imagine an airplane leaving New York for Los Angeles. if its direction changes by only a few degrees. The passengers notice nothing. The flight feels exactly the same. But hours later, the plane lands hundreds of miles away from its intended destination. Small decisions work exactly like that. One unnecessary purchase seems harmless. One missed investment feels insignificant. 1 month without saving appears unimportant. But repeated for 20 years, tiny choices become enormous outcomes. The same is true in the opposite direction. One investment, one book, one valuable skill, one wise financial decision, repeated consistently, can completely change the direction of your future. This is why millionaires become less interested in dramatic change and more interested in sustainable habits. They understand that success is rarely built in giant leaps. It's built in small adjustments, repeated thousands of times. Imagine watching a sculptor create a masterpiece. Each strike of the chisel removes only a tiny piece of stone. To an observer, nothing seems different, but after months of careful work, a magnificent sculpture appears. No single strike created it. The accumulation did. Your financial life is sculpted the same way. Every choice leaves a mark. Every habit shapes the outcome. Every year strengthens the identity you're building. Eventually, your daily decisions become your destiny. Perhaps that's the greatest silent rule every millionaire follows. They don't allow today's emotions to steal tomorrow's possibilities. They understand that every financial choice is more than a transaction. It's a vote for the future they want to live. Some votes create comfort for a weekend. Others create freedom for a lifetime. The wealthy simply cast more votes for the future. And over time, those votes become businesses, assets, financial independence, generational wealth. Perhaps that's why they rarely appear rushed. They know the most valuable things in life cannot be forced. Trees take time to grow. Trust takes time to build. Mastery takes time to develop. Wealth also takes time. But for those willing to think beyond the next month, or even the next year, time stops being an obstacle. It becomes their greatest advantage. And that brings us to the final silent rule, the principle that ties every lesson together, the rule that explains why some people spend their entire lives chasing wealth, while others quietly become the kind of people wealth naturally follows. Because before millionaires build fortunes, they build themselves. Imagine two people reaching the end of a 40-year career. Both worked hard. Both faced setbacks. Both earned opportunities. From the outside, their journeys appear remarkably similar. But when they look back, they discover two completely different lives. The first spent decades chasing the next reward, the next promotion, the next purchase, the next symbol of success. Every achievement felt exciting for a while, but every finish line quietly moved farther away. The second person also worked hard. They also celebrated success, but they lived by a different set of rules. Rules that rarely made headlines. Rules that required patience instead of applause. Ownership instead of appearances. Consistency instead of intensity. Leverage instead of endless labor. Long-term thinking instead of short-term excitement. Year after year, those quiet decisions began shaping an extraordinary future. Not overnight, not through luck, but through repetition. Because wealth has never been built by one spectacular moment. It's built by thousands of ordinary decisions, made with extraordinary discipline. Perhaps that's why the world's wealthiest people often appear surprisingly calm. They understand something most people spend a lifetime discovering. Money is not the goal. Freedom is. Money is simply one of the tools that can help create it. Freedom to choose meaningful work. Freedom to spend time with family. Freedom to walk away from opportunities that don't align with your values. Freedom to live according to purpose. instead of pressure. Every chapter of this journey has pointed toward the same truth. The wealthy don't merely earn differently. They think differently. While others ask, "What can I buy?" they ask, "What can I build?" While others ask, "How much does it cost?" they ask, "What will it produce?" While others focus on today's comfort, they quietly invest in tomorrow's possibilities. And over time, those different questions produce different lives. Perhaps the greatest lesson isn't about money at all. It's about identity. Millionaires don't become wealthy because they suddenly develop better habits. They become wealthy because they first become the kind of people who consistently make better decisions. Their bank accounts simply reflect their thinking. Imagine planting a single seed. Tomorrow, nothing changes. Next week, almost nothing changes. Even next year, the growth seems modest. But keep planting, keep watering, keep protecting what you've built. One day, you'll look around and realize you're standing inside a forest. Not because of one extraordinary action, but because of thousands of ordinary ones. That is how wealth grows. Quietly, patiently, almost invisibly, until the results become impossible to ignore. So the next time you're in a paycheck, pause before spending it. Ask yourself one simple question. Is this decision building the life I want, or only the image I want others to see? That single question, repeated consistently over the years, may become the most profitable financial habit you ever develop. Thank you for watching the Wealth Lab. If this documentary changed the way you think about money, tell us in the comments. Which silent rule do you believe most people ignore? Your answer may inspire someone else to begin building lasting wealth. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe for more deep dives into wealth psychology, behavioral finance, investing, money mindset, and the timeless principles behind financial freedom. Because in our next documentary, we'll uncover another hidden truth that quietly separates the wealthy from everyone else. The millionaire blueprint nobody teaches. Until then, remember this. Wealth is rarely built by loud decisions. It's built by silent ones, repeated long enough to change your future.